So we're going to be going just in the direction of that blue arrow now, which will parallel those two trail markers I was trying to put in last night. The one above says Wildeburg is actually a peak, i.e. the diamond. I've seen several reworked stumps on my hikes. This is the most elaborate, obviously a castle. Not only a castle, but with a separate protective tower. You can see from the notches that make the parapets it is probably a chainsaw. Very clever. It gives you an idea that even when people are working out in a tough environment like this, they still have a sense of the clever, the creative, the pretty, the novel. That their time, even though they may be tired, is still worthy of that effort. Here the trail has brought us from back along down through a valley right down through there somewhere, and then wound us back in around this town and around this tennis sports area, and hopefully will be kicking us back into the woods once we're past all of this. I'm across the road from the tennis courts I walked around, which is right there, and I'm guessing that we somehow came across that ridge line and then wound back downhill and back down along the trail to there, and then around and then across the road down there and up this trail here. And so we continue. The trail goes alongside this deep hole. It's probably about 15 to 20 feet deep, probably 40, 50 feet across. If it were Vietnam, South Vietnam, I'd know it was B-52 bombs. But here, don't know what it is. As the temperature begins to climb to it's 91 for the day, we leave the cool of the forest and cross this large field. At the top of the hill in this field, others follow this road running perpendicular to my path. We continue on down into what I suspect are more beautiful woods. Again, this is a different trail for people. Mine, the one less traveled. We came out of the woods and down across the fields up there where the trees are, and exit out where that lady and her pack of barking dogs is, bypassing this little community, if it's that, and continuing to wrap up into the woods here. And at some point in time we should start to hang a left to loop back around. Here, smaller obelisks, if you will, but freshly whitewashed, as are all those along this route here, this portion of the route. We went up further. So I wonder if in the day this was an important road and these really were some kind of signposts. This looks like a purposely built berm structure that I've been walking on, and my bet is that it's got something to do with a water control system. Maybe there's some kind of catchment or reservoir up here somewhere. So here's another line of these freshly painted blocks. It could be that they just mark the line of a water system. I measured between two of them and it was about 300 feet. I'll measure between two of these longer distance ones. Just when I'm thinking I'm going to run out of water and need some, I discover a Gasthof on the trail. Opposite its front door, I continue on my hike as soon as I drink down my bottle of soda water. That's the church we passed on the other side after I corrected my only mistake of the day so far. And then we traipsed up over the top of that ridge there and onward. We'll turn left down here, walk down to where the trolley line is, and turn right and get the trolley or tram. First I thought it was a boy holding a young girl, but it appears to be a boy holding his dog. If it were the former, it would reminisce of The Man Who Laughs by Victor Hugo. This is the first sign that I've encountered from the highway, or from the main road, Linzensgrass. I've seen no sign even there. Down there we pass what looks like a modest old estate, but here's an interesting little building, grated over now with a door at the back. My guess is that that old little building, if you will, may have been part of a water system that included this reservoir. This area I'm standing on appears to have been dammed up, more than just these rocks, and that would have made for the estate not only a beautiful water feature, but also a continuing source of water. Here's a good sign, finally. Give me some more confidence. These are slugs feeding on what I think is some dog crap. And there's a beetle on the lower right hand corner doing the same. The slug in the middle apparently has had enough and is making for elsewhere. Looks like I may have crested. Notice this slug is different. In fact, it's different than most of slugs I've seen anywhere in the world. It's black and it looks like a tan, but it's striped. That'd be an interesting kind of deck treatment. The braces up above. Earlier I thought I was at the high point. I was wrong. It was quite a bit of higher elevation to climb up to before I got to up there. And now I'm on my way down, I think. Here's another reservoir, probably. Now slowly turning into a swamp and then into a meadow as it fills up. Probably for the same purpose. Somewhere around here was an estate. This pond is created by some dam on the stream. The stream itself is filling in rapidly with a muddy mix of pine needles and that sort of thing, and mud, because they dump the logs and so forth that they cut off that are near the road or on the path into that stream. But here it looks like a couple of goldfish escaped and became quite large. I don't know if it's a female duck or not. There's a typical mallard. Here's a little spot, but you wouldn't want to swim in it. But it's a great experience for little kids. The dam had created that pond. To the left is a stream, and there to the right is a runoff channel for some kind of access. And here another one of those shelters. This is quite a large one. All rocked in now, but what was the purpose? You can see the old walls that protected this stream bed, or at least the hillside. This is an Austrian drinking fountain out in the Tules a bit. This is actually on my Maps.me map, and it's appropriately placed right near this quite a nice little park, principally designed for kids, but still with picnic tables. Very pretty attribute for the people that live in this canyon, which is a very lovely place to live on the outskirts of Vienna if you have a reason to be here in the first place. First morning in Salzburg. It's August 29th, 2017, and I've just got off the bus, number 4, to go in Mirabell, which is that huge park there. More than a park. It once was a palace for an old man with gout and a mistress and the old man did not like the difficulty of negotiating the narrow streets of Salzburg, so he built that complex so he wouldn't have to. Yeah, First, we'll visit this church. I'm not sure we can get in. The church is completely locked up, so we'll go to Mirabell. This is the complex we're entering into. We're entering into it from the side. If you look closely at the picture, it would appear that the building that's I'll show you to our right is to the left in the picture. So we must be coming in on the far side of that from a street that runs along the left-hand side where those trees are in the picture. Is that palace he had built. Notice much more of an elaborate layout here than we saw even at Schönbrunn Palace, which was the seat of the Habsburgs. So the question, is this original? This is the river right over there. So it was a beautiful location, to say the least. A dramatic entryway to the center floral gardens. I assume it's the center, I don't know yet. This is a relatively small building that's covered with now. No, the wall ranges down, but the building's small. Gotta love some of the irony of what I'll read right now. Mirabell Palace, built in 1606 by Prince-Archbishop Wolf Dietrich for his beloved mistress. I mean, does that sum up lots of hypocrisy all in one shot? In the background are several edifices I can't identify yet, but the one on the top is the fortress N of Salzburg. We'll visit all of those.